Imagine the freedom to soar above the world, to turn and climb, to see the world as you've never seen it before. Imagine Improv, the first dynamic spreadsheet for Windows.
Cut, stop. Hold it, Ray.
What's wrong?
Take it down a little. This is just a spreadsheet after all.
What do you want? It's in the script.
Forget the script. Just talk to them. Watch. Okay, we're here to tell you about Improv, a new spreadsheet from Lotus. But after that intro, you have to be wondering, what is a dynamic spreadsheet? And why in the world do we need another spreadsheet anyway? Well, Improv isn't just another spreadsheet. It's a new kind of spreadsheet and a new approach to spreadsheet design. Here's an Improv worksheet. Now watch. Did you see that? The entire worksheet rearranged itself. Improv lets you change the layout of your spreadsheet instantly for dynamic viewing and analysis. And that's only the beginning. After you work with Improv, you find there's a lot more. Improv helps you build faster, and you can easily expand and modify with complete confidence that the model and its formulas still function correctly. Then you can generate new perspectives of your data.
See the world as you've never seen it before.
You've got it. With Improv's flexibility, you can compare events over time, discover new relationships within the data, and better communicate your discoveries to others. The best way to understand Improv is to take it for a spin. You know, I like this. It's like doing the weather. Anyway, if you can't test drive Improv, watch this video. It's a demo of the program with a few comments from users and developers, like this one.
I remember when I first saw Improv, it was as if I was scratching an itch that I'd had for a long time. Being able to expand my model as the data increased. Being able to change dimensions. In fact, it scratched itches I didn't even know I had until I saw the thing.
When you first see Improv, the landscape seems pretty familiar. But notice that Improv doesn't use the conventional numbered rows and lettered columns. That's because data and formulas aren't tied to specific geographic locations. Instead, they're linked to labels, which Improv refers to as items and categories. For example, revenue, cost of goods, and gross margin are all items in the category called detail. And North America, Europe, Asia, and total are items in the category region. From these items, Improv derives cell names, names with real meaning, like Revenue Europe. And from these, Improv creates formulas, formulas that are comprehensible. You can pass your work on to a colleague or come back to it months later, and the formulas will be easy to see and easy to understand. Plus, they're general. That means that one formula can apply to multiple cells. For example, this formula calculates the gross margin across all the regions. There's no need to go through the error-prone process of copying a formula into cell after cell. One formula, 4 cells.
We've talked to a lot of users. We've gone through a lot of different UI designs, some good, some bad, some great, some awful, and have just gone over this territory a lot of times to find the pitfalls and find the gems that are concealed in there as far as how to really make a spreadsheet easier to use for the user. And I think one of the things that really helped is that a lot of people in the group had a good focus on the user. That was the first person in mind. It wasn't what's interesting to program, it's what will work for them.
Improv's premise was to deliver new value and capabilities that go beyond traditional spreadsheets. Its starting point was to make the most commonly used functions the easiest to perform. I'll show you. Let's build a product revenue forecast from scratch. I'll name the first item revenue, and then just press Enter to create a new item. You can name these items anything, but we'll call them cost of goods and gross margin. These 3 items are all part of this category, which we'll name detail. Now, I want to extend my forecast across 3 regions. With Improv, I can add new items by highlighting the item and pressing Enter, like I did before. Or I can drag additional items onto the screen with the mouse. That's one of the nice details about Improv. Generally, there's more than one path leading to the same destination. And if you forget, there's always the Create menu. From here, you can make any Improv object. Formulas, categories, items, views, charts, and more. Okay. After adding some data, I'll create the formulas by picking objects from the screen. Cells, items like total, arithmetic operations from the status bar, or 1, 2, 3 style functions. My formulas can apply to a single cell, or, as we're doing here, they can apply to multiple cells. And because they use the language of your business, they're easier to build and easier to understand.
Senior managers may very well want to define a formula to compare performance or to calculate a new performance ratio, whereas previously, now, today, they would ask for an analyst or a support person to build it for them. At this point now, they will be able to think of that, turn it around, enter the formula on the screen, and see the calculation immediately. And that's exciting. Because it's exciting to me because we're going to keep his mental computer running. There will not be that pause while he thinks of that, asks someone else to do it and go away, and they come back an hour or so later.
When you weren't looking, I added some expense information. Salaries, marketing, promotion, etc. It might make sense to group these together. Just choose Item Group from the Create menu. It's like outlining, but groups give you more. For example, Improv can calculate an average, minimum, maximum, count, or standard deviation for the group. Or Improv totals the group. You don't even need to write a formula. Improv does it for you. Then make the information simpler to view by collapsing the group and showing expenses as a single line item.
Improv redraws the boundaries of spreadsheet technology. Build faster, build smarter, with the power of general formulas.
Thank you, Ray.
Anytime.
Okay, translation. General formulas make building spreadsheets a lot faster. They also make it a lot easier to expand, maintain, or modify your spreadsheets. And that's where the real value is. Right now, our forecast only holds data for a single product, say, binoculars. To compare more, just create a new category called Product and add the items. With a few simple actions, the spreadsheet expands. And all I have to do is add the data. That's because our formulas have been applied automatically to the new product lines. You don't have to spend a lot of time copying formulas because Improv does it for you.
Je pense que je vais gagner beaucoup de temps en utilisant Improv à la place d'Excel.
I think I'm going to save a lot of time by using Improv rather than Excel, since the creation of multidimensional spreadsheets is extremely easy with Improv. With traditional spreadsheets, I have to use the copy and paste commands, which are time-consuming and sometimes risky.
Et quelquefois dangereuse.
Now, let's say I want to project my forecast out to next year. Again, all I have to do is create a new category. In fact, I can add up to 12 categories or data dimensions easily. And the formulas from this year are automatically applied to next year. But shouldn't we project a little optimism into our forecast? One formula changes the whole picture. And as your model grows, you can easily verify all the formulas by looking at the formula pane. Formulas aren't buried within dozens of cells. Highlight the formula to see where it applies. Or highlight a cell to see its formula.
With an Improv model, the body and the soul are right there on one screen. The body shows you all the numbers. The soul is in the formula panel. And because it doesn't take thousands of formulas anymore, it only takes a few formulas, you can look at the thing, look at the formulas, and size the model up right away. You know, that's what makes this thing tick. And that makes it a terrific vehicle for giving a model that you've written to someone else and having them understand it.
Now for the fun part. You can see your spreadsheet in a different layout without starting from scratch. Here's our complete product revenue forecast. There are 4 categories in the spreadsheet. Along the side is the product category, which contains the items: binoculars, telescopes, and cameras. Next to it is the detail category, which contains items like revenue, cost of goods, and gross margin. Along the top is the year category, which includes this year and next year. And the region category, North America, Europe, and Asia. Now, with the spreadsheet organized by product line, it's difficult to compare, for example, net revenue. The information I want is in different parts of the spreadsheet. Improv will let me rearrange my spreadsheet so that I can see these net revenue figures together. I can do that simply by dragging and dropping the product category to the other side of the detail category. It's a simple single step. When I move the product category, the spreadsheet rearranges itself immediately. Now it's easy to compare the net revenue figures for all the product lines because they're together in one place. No other spreadsheet can give you this power. It's called dynamic views. Here's that same step. This is my starting point. By moving the category, I'm going to rearrange the data. Okay, let's go back to the original layout again. Now, imagine that the Vice President of Finance wants to look at the binocular forecast for both years. With this layout, she can't see both years easily. But she can move the product category up here and move the year category to the lower left to instantly rebuild the spreadsheet. Move the product category tile up over the columns to the upper right. That's the first step. And move the year category to the lower left. And the spreadsheet changes. Now it's easy to compare the binocular forecasts for this year and next year.
The senior manager is tempted, is invited to ask of that report that he sees, and he sees regularly. He'll ask it now of Improv, can I move this variable to another location? Or can I enter a new variable that compares two measures on a comparative sense? Or can I look at a variance between two variables that is not being calculated right now? And that can be entered through Improv. I think that's the kind of thing that I'm referring to when I say it invites him to do more. It just almost speaks to him and says, do this on the screen right here.
Down the hall, the Vice President of Sales wants to see performance by region. Moving the region category, just picking up the category and moving it, is all it takes to put each region on its own page. Move the category, change the spreadsheet. Click on the arrow to bring up a page for each region and scan through a set of clear, uncluttered summaries of regional product revenues. Dynamic views eliminate the cost of rebuilding your spreadsheet. More importantly, they're a powerful tool to help you develop new insights and to clarify your points. Improv redefines spreadsheet technology, but it's also filled with details that can make work a little easier, a little better. Like the info box. Pull it up and it stays open as you format the worksheet with fonts, line styles, and colors. Click on the right mouse button to display a quick menu of possible actions for any selected Improv object. And presentations are just as easy. Just highlight the data and touch the smart icon. Improv is complementary to Lotus 123. Some may prefer Improv, others 123. It doesn't matter. Files can be imported or exported to both. Plus, Improv can read and write Excel files.
For very simple analysis, I will use a two-dimensional conventional spreadsheet, such as Lotus 123 or Excel. For requirements that are forecasting related or for budgetary purposes, or for results purposes. Something that is going to be used on a continual basis, something that's going to be needed for presentations. Improv is the tool of choice.
That's Improv, the first dynamic spreadsheet. Dynamic because with incredible speed and ease, you can expand, modify, and rearrange your spreadsheets. It will literally change the way you look at your work.
I think that Improv will raise the bar because it is being perceived by customers to whom we've shown it as a true state-of-the-art spreadsheet. It's surprising people. People say, I didn't know spreadsheets could do that. They assume that they had seen it all, and it's not true.
By the way, it's also fun to use.
Dorothy.
Well, it is. Anyway, why don't you wrap this up now?
Imagine seeing the world as you've never seen it before. From the company that created the standard comes the first dynamic spreadsheet for Windows. Don't delay. Act now.
Ray, we can cut that, can't we?